So I gotta know. Um, After listening to about that one story about the foster parent and nurse that left the 1 year old in the car, and it was hot in there, and the baby died, and no charges were filed, and nothing was really talked about that story. Like, why do the stories that get talked about, like the ones that should really be talked about, don't really get talked about? The ones that are kind of important are used as cannon fire for the stories that should not be talked about, should not be on the news, should not be worried about. Like, we have real issues out here with the fentanyl going on, and crime, and real issues with families that are falling apart. So let's focus on this whole pronoun stuff and transgender movement and allowing kids to go to drag shows. I mean, don't get me wrong. No, that's just you know. But but how we're handling it doesn't really get us anywhere. And it goes with everybody trying to. I mean, get people clean, get people off the streets, crime, helping this, helping family. I mean, it doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing now? I mean, we're trying to build society and a civilization, you know, and a way of life um, that we all need. We're all going to share. I mean, what I believe as my personal belief is one thing, but the common goal, the big picture belief that we all share, that's what I think we should be using to focus, um, you know, on building this society. I mean, who I believe and how we got here, that's one thing. But how my God and your God tell us to treat each other, that's what we should use to shape this world. All right. And we can, I mean, and I think you can actually embrace somebody else's belief um, without feeling like you disgraced your own. Or, I mean, in my personal opinion, if Christianity was to, um, if they were actually able or contemplate thinking that maybe they're wrong or embracing somebody else's belief and respecting it, it would fall under the category of blasphemy and turning their back on their belief. I think they're. I mean, everybody's so shunned about their way being theirs, and and so defensive when they talk to other people, and Christians think that their path is the only way to be. And I mean, if we could just put all that stuff aside and build a society based off of the law of reality, the law of physical, the rules of material. Money, is something that we've come to use. I think it's actually BS. I think we need to go back to the barter system or redo the whole, economy with money and all that. But I mean, economy that actually goes into my other one world government, which I think could be a good thing if it's done right. But yeah, I mean, just build a society of like-minded beliefs. You know, roundabout answers. We're both. I believe in. I mean, I don't particularly have a belief. I do believe that there is, a higher power. I don't really know how to really shape his order and structure of his heaven or hell, or what happens when we die. I have my theories, my thoughts, and my beliefs that I hold dear right now with reincarnation, past lives, and going to heaven, going to hell. I think they're actually all. I think they're all right. Reincarnation, past lives and all that. Going to heaven and living in light and living with the loved ones. Going to hell, pay for your sins. I also believe that hell is typically permanent, but there are ways to get out like jail. I think there's certain crimes, certain blood that you'll have on your hands that you won't be able to wash off. You can condemn, you can, I think you can ascend and not be put through so much if your souls come to understand where it's done wrong. Um, but you'll never leave hell. In a matter of speaking. But yeah. Um, I just wish we could like get our heads out of our ass and socialize and communicate civilly, like adults, like high functioning, mammals we like to believe we are, and just communicate. I think the way that the courts talk, all that intelligent lingo, and how all those big words that doctors like try to use, um, and the heavenly divine high horse, voice that churches like to use, just isolates the people to make you think that you need to go to that church to find God, or you need to go to a doctor because you don't understand your body, or you're not smart enough to know what's right and wrong for you. So the government needs to maintain, what's going on in your life. And, they don't really have much high hope for ourselves. And then striving to make it out of this hellhole really is not easy. And unfortunately, a good chunk of us, I mean, it's not so much that I think the world's against us. I do think a little bit, but some of us are not gonna like get out of the ditch. Uh, I mean, it's no different than being like average. There's nothing wrong with being average. And it doesn't mean you're not unique in your own way. It doesn't mean you're not, worth respect, and dignity. It just means you're, and being in the gutter doesn't mean you're gutter trash. I mean, there is same thing with black and or racist and white. I think there is a difference between like gutter boys and gutterettes. Um, and just because I'm on a house, I don't think I'm any better. Just because I'm not on the streets doing drugs, or just because I don't have a criminal record doesn't mean I think I'm better than you. Um, so I mean, I'm a little bit because I have a clean record, but it's not easy. Wasn't no Doesn't mean I didn't do stupid shit. Uh, some of it was skill, some of it was intelligence, some of it was just luck. Um, but yeah, kind of rambling right now, but I don't know. I just look at the world that we're having right now and everything that's going on in the world, between nuclear threat to Putin and Ukraine, the issues with China and North Korea. Where's NATO in all of this? How is the government? What is the government up to? What were they thinking with Joe Biden? I mean, like, seriously, really? I mean, Trump's whatever. I mean, Trump's Trump. But what were you thinking with? I mean, Joe Biden just seems just dumb, and he's very creepy. He definitely has that pedo fucking cherry on top. He's just like that smile is just creepy. Um, and his son Hunter Biden has the same look. Um, I think his wife even has the same look too. They all have that same creepy uncle look. Um, I mean, but politicians are, I mean, they're all, I think they're all dirty in a nutshell. Some might think they're not, but they're not trying to shake up the system. And when you try to threaten to shake up the system or stand for your constitutional rights, because of the Constitution, they get all mouthy. I mean, all this fighting with the cops too. I mean, between the people and the cops, and First and Second, Third and Fourth, Fifth Amendment, and cops not wanting to back up the Constitution and understand, and people just wanting to record to be annoying, and I mean, I get it, stand for your rights, but all this stuff is just gonna keep more division between the cops and the civilians. I'm not saying, I mean, I don't really care for cops. I don't really think we need cops, but I do think we need cops in aspects. But I think if we actually did an aspect between military and cops training and firefighter training for everyone, um, all males have all that training. Um, and I mean, I guess females too. I mean, two is better than one. So I mean, if you got women out there that want to bust and grind and whatnot, and you know, bask in a little bit of masculine, get a little physical, and fucking run and burning buildings and lift people over their shoulders and can without risking all of our lives. Um, then I mean, women want to try to join the police force and you know then have fun, but that masculine energy is not fun to be around, and it's kind of hard to shake off when you um, go back home and deal with the wife, because it's us, all right. But for you guys, I mean, it's that masculine energy that come home and then try to shake that off after dealing with all that. Same thing with the military and all that, and it gets a little bit better down the work field and all that. But in a nutshell, you gotta have that masculine energy and then come home and then shake it off and then deal with the kids, and you gotta be at home. You gotta be that nurturing one. You gotta be that soft one. And then flip it back on when you go back to work, and then deal with all the ins and outs of the career world and saving people and then building buildings and putting fires out and lifting those heavy hoses or tackling those tweakers that have a razor blade in their mouth or walking the jail and prison yard with sociopaths and rapists. Um, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, there's some sick females out there, but you guys aren't. I mean, I think this whole thought process between women being sociopaths and all that is sort of a modern day age thing. That's only been around for like the last 150 years, but give or take. Before you guys weren't really. I mean, yes, you guys were very emotional and snapped. Shot your husband for doing this or that. Poison him because he beat you, which I don't fault you if he's beating you. But as long as you're not hitting him and calling him abusive when he only hit you once. I mean, that in a nutshell. I mean, if he's full on beating you and you're not doing anything, then if you slip a little rat poison in his drink, I mean, I can't really fault you. Because I don't. I mean, I do think there's a fine line between checking and woman beating, or emotions getting out of hand and smacking and whatnot once. And I think women, I mean, I'm sorry, but you guys fucking are mouthy and want to push, 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 and then we've been told our whole lives, don't hit women, don't hit women. But it's like fucking when you get them in your face and in your face, and then they want to hit you or fucking come out you sideways, and it's just like, dude, back up, back up. Like, cause I know full on. I mean, I've grabbed, I've choked, fucking all that, but I've never full on socked or anything, because I mean, I know if I actually fucking lost control of myself, I'd fucking break you in half. I mean, I ain't stupid. I'd break you in half. But it's like fucking the guy can only take so much. Alright, but I'm starting to ramble and my girl's done in the shower, so I need to go get the little one. So you guys have a good night.